What's up, guys? Ryan here, and in this video, I'm going to be going over the 5 things that you must know for 2025 in lead generation, whether you're generating leads for yourself or for your clients. I'm going to talk about 5 crucial tips and go through a little bit of a presentation. 5 things that have really changed the game for our agency, and these aren't just tips. These are really crucial elements if you want to be the best at lead generation. So if you're not doing these things, I hope you'll consider implementing them into your business. They relate to how we capture leads, how we follow up with leads, how we close deals. And that is relevant to you whether, again, you're generating leads for yourself, obviously, or if you're selling these leads off, how can you support your clients in the closing of these leads? So let's jump on the computer and I'll show you a quick presentation. I always say, this can be a short video, but you never know how long it's going to be with me because I love to ramble. So let's jump on and let's see what we'll get into. All right, guys. So again, 5 tips on how to improve your lead quality, how to actually generate leads online that close. A lot of you talk about how you're able to get leads, but the quality is terrible. And I've talked a bit about this on the channel, but I really wanted to dive into some really crucial elements. Again, if you're not doing these things, you won't be the best, and your competitors will simply produce better leads than you. And I think what has happened, and it relates to the first question here, is we've kind of all raced to the bottom. We've decided that a solar lead could be worth as low as $50. And so we're all fighting to get solar leads less than $50. But I think what can differentiate you in 2025 is focus on just getting the best possible solar lead that you can get. And if it costs you $100, that's potentially fine if it's good quality. If your $100 solar lead converts 2 times better than the $50 solar lead, you're already in a better place because your client's going to have to chase down half the amount of leads to close a deal, and you're going to be able to sell those solar leads for a lot more. So again, if you can sell a lead for 50 and it's not that great quality, try and get a lead that you could sell for 150 that's 3 times better. That's always a good place to be at. And then the quantity and the scale will happen after that point. So let's dive into that and talk about asking the right questions in our funnel and on our landing page, because this is where I think we try and do the least amount possible so we get the cheapest lead and then we can make a bunch of money. And I did this. First thing I did was jump into lead gen, and I sold leads for about $55 in the timeshare exit space. I ran a lead form. I got leads for like $8, and I'm like, I'm about to be rich. And my client fired me very quickly. Okay, so my leads were low quality, low intent, right? And when I focused on getting high quality leads, and this is something we still do to this day, we sell leads every single month. Like, we're still an active agency. This isn't something we just talk about that we did before. You're learning from somebody who's actually doing this, selling over 100K in leads every single month. Yeah, let's jump into the specific here. So the key points are in terms of questions on your page. The goal of this is to, again, produce a high quality lead. And we don't want to just capture a lead for cheap. We want to ask specific intentional questions that help segment our users by intent, by budget, urgency. We don't want to pixel firing on a lead that doesn't make, isn't someone we're looking for. So if we're looking for leads for solar and someone's renting, let's filter them out. If we're looking for solar and they need a 650 credit score, let's filter out the people under that. If they need to make 40K a year at least, let's filter out the people under that. Let's focus on getting leads that actually qualify for your offer first. Then we can even take it a step further and start to really focus on how do we really go after those target consumers. First things first, on your landing page, you're going to want to make sure you have proper questioning there. And I always talk about starting small. You can start with a lead form, work your way up. If you start with 50 questions, you're not probably going to get any leads off the bat, and you're not going to know what's wrong. Start small, start with a few questions, and add them slowly but surely. Once you've got creatives that are just crushing it, your quiz that has 5 to 8 questions is crushing it, you could probably pretty easily go to 10 to 15 questions from 5 to 8 questions if you already have creatives that are crushing it. So start with creative, get traffic to your page, convert some leads, then you can grow. We want to start with very simple to answer questions. Do you live in do you live in the United States? Yes, that's the easiest question for someone to start. Or do you rent or own? That's an easy enough question as well. You could ask, what's your favorite color? Just something that's like the easiest opt-in ever for that lead when they hit your page. And we're going to end with the more hard-hitting questions. When are you looking to start? What's your monthly budget? What's your credit score? How much do you make? Every question should get incrementally harder or more committed for that lead. And we want to, again, we don't want to start with what's your credit score as number one, or we don't want to have a form with every single question just laid out right in front of them that's so overwhelming. We want to make this easy with micro commitments for people. And the better the input, the better the lead. Again, the goal isn't just more leads. It's actually people who are looking for the service who are going to convert. And that can be difficult on Facebook because when you start out, it's just going to throw a bunch of leads at you, and most of them are going to be terrible. So we have to train and teach Facebook what we're looking for. We have to be ruthless with Facebook, okay? And that means we fire a pixel only when certain criteria are met. And a pro tip here is to use something like a quiz creator like LeadsHook or LeadCapture.io. I've actually had a few issues with LeadsHook lately, and I'm testing out LeadCapture.io. Andrew, who's one of the coaches in Leadbase Pro, who teaches FEX and insurance every single month, he does several hundred leads per day. He's using LeadCapture.io. I'm having issues with the cities not being filled in properly and Google Maps not working and emails getting entered weird. And we put an email verification in to LeadsHook that was custom, and then it failed, and then I lost like $3,000 because my whole quiz didn't work for a day and I didn't notice. Anyways, me ranting. Make sure your quiz has a good UX. If you just have a giant form with everything on it, if you don't have a proper headline, all these things matter. So we like to use quizzes because they allow us to ask one question at a time. And again, we get people to micro commit. Once they it's kind of like sales 101. You get someone to get them to say yes. Yes, I own my own home, or I live in the USA. Yes, I do. That's going to allow us to ask further hard-hitting questions. So that's tip number one, is ask the right questions. Make sure that you're talking to your client about what questions are relevant to them when you're getting set up. So they can give you really good insight. For example, for solar, like they probably don't want a mobile home. They probably don't want someone who owns a bare plot of land that doesn't have a house. They probably want someone who isn't on Social Security. They probably want somebody who has a credit score of a certain amount. There's a ton of different things that should be in your quiz, right? And again, you can't just start with those. You have to work up to them. Tip number two is add friction, because the right kind of friction is going to filter out the fluff. I've used this example a few times now. If you have Ryan and Ryan goes through your funnel and Ryan goes through a lead form funnel, Ryan could easily be a very low quality lead. But if the same Ryan goes through your extensive landing page, two-step landing page funnel with a quiz, Ryan can be a high quality lead. He can become somebody who's more committed, because the more steps equals the more qualified. Again, multi-step forms, quizzes, interactive flows, they require effort, and this is going to signal stronger interest. This is going to be somebody who's now going to remember when you call them, and they're not just going to say, "Who are you? I've never even heard of this before," because they don't remember the lead form they filled out, because they filled out 50 of them. And examples of this are, you can add a step to confirm contact info. You can have one-time password sent to them to verify their information. We use something called the Evergreen funnel, which is what we teach in Leadbase Pro, where we have a two-step funnel with a VSL. So we're really getting people educated and committed to what we're providing. So they literally have to go through 4 or 5 different steps in terms of pages just to become a lead. So we know that they're motivated. And people value what they invest time in. Again, even if it's just a few extra seconds, the difference again between a lead form and a funnel can maybe only be like a few minutes, but they're going to be much more invested with a proper funnel. So that's why we really do prefer to use quizzes and multi-step funnels. And balance is key. Don't overload it. 2 to 3 intentional steps can greatly improve your lead quality. All right, and that brings us to tip number 3, make your thank you page work for you. I think a lot of times we just pop up a thank you page. It's like, great, we'll call you soon, and people just leave. But this is pretty valuable real estate if you think about it. And you have to think of every single lead as a human being going through this process. And the more that we can keep them on the thank you page, the longer we can keep them there, the more likely that they're going to be, again, to remember who we are. And we can really use this as prime real estate. So we want to have next actions on the thank you page. Book a call, download a lead magnet, watch this testimonial. Here's some homework for the first call that we're going to have. We want them to know, hey, there's more steps that are coming. You're not done yet. So step 1 is complete. Step 2, book a call. Step 3, prepare for that initial call where we just get to know each other. It's going to be nonchalant. We're just going to hear what you're kind of looking for. There's going to be no pressure. I like to really set things up like that. I think there's been this movement in digital leads to really focus on just the hard sell on that first call. But really that first call is just building rapport and getting to know the person, because at this point in 2025, everyone's been hammered by phone calls of people trying to sell them right then and there. But if you can actually build just a little bit of rapport, you're going to get a good client that's going to give you a good testimonial if you can actually help them. Again, have them set them up for a call that's going to be just an introduction. There's going to be no pressure. We don't want them to feel like they're going to be sold, or they're not going to go forward with the call. They're not going to answer. They're going to get disinterested. We want to introduce human elements on this page as well. Ideally, if you're selling leads, you have a video of yourself on that page that's saying kind of what I just said. Step 1's complete. Step 2, book your call. Step 3, this is what the first call is going to look like. It's going to be super nonchalant. We're just going to see, if you actually qualify for solar. See if it's right for you. Talk about the rebates that are available. Hey, there's going to be no pressure. We're just looking forward to chatting with you. And by the way, your recommended advisor is below. And so maybe the person you're selling the lead to, there could be a photo of them or a little blurb on them, and they're going to be the person that's calling, so that the person again has an idea of who's calling them. If Fred's going to call them, have a photo of Fred with his family, some of his experience, how he's helped people, just something that again has a human element. I think that's very important. And make sure you're tracking on this page as well. We track every ebook download if we have that on a thank you page. We track video views on the thank you page or click throughs to a video. We make sure that we're seeing if our thank you page is actually engaging people, because the longer we can keep them there, the better chance our lead buyer or we have of getting in touch with them. If we have a person that's on the thank you page actually reading for a little bit, let's say they're on the thank you page for 5 minutes and then we call them, that gives us more time to call them and they're still looking at the content. They're not moving on to the next thing. So the thank you page is very important. Speed to lead, guys. I've said this a lot of times, but we need to strike in under 2 minutes. This is going to 3 to 4x our odds of closing a deal. This is so important. So many people do this so terribly, but this response time is so crucial. And I live by the 2-minute rule. You need to respond to that lead that comes in via a call in 2 minutes. If they don't answer, you're SMSing them with a video of yourself saying, hey, just missed you, Bob. Looking forward to chatting with you. This should be manual. This should not be automated. You call. If they don't answer, you send a video via text message or at least a very personal blurb and a very personal email as fast as you can within 120 seconds of that call. And if they don't answer in that 2 minutes, give them maybe an hour on call again. That first day is so crucial. This actually says, this should say, don't automate the initial touch. So I messed that up. Don't. But you can automate other touches and kind of mix them up a little bit. Can't spell. Mix up your touch points a little bit, but you need some human elements. If you just like sending the exact same thing to everybody that they can tell it's just like, hey, were you still looking to get solar? That's not going to happen. If you can be personable and talk to them about, maybe where they live, a local, area, show them that you're invested in the conversation and they're not just a number, that's going to go a long way. Again, setting expectations on the thank you page is going to be important. And that personalization is going to be important. If they said that they live in North Carolina, say, hell, the Panthers suck. Don't say that. Say the Panthers are great this year. Maybe that's South Carolina. Panthers, I think they share the team. Bad example. If it's the Yankees and they live in New York, the Yankees are the best. They're gonna crush it this year. Personalize that a little bit, or just talk about yourself. Hey, I hear you're looking for solar, Fred. You got some great questions. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. I'd be happy to answer them. Look, this call is going to be super nonchalant, non-pressure. I'd just be happy to answer any questions you have. We can take a look at exactly how much it's going to cost you. So I look forward to speaking with you. It's important to personalize that, at least those first touch points. You can automate things afterwards. Follow up like a pro. This is where automation comes in. Our best clients follow up 21 times. And it's not pestering, it's persistence. It's smart marketing. ChatGPT told me to say that. Not gonna lie. 21 touches. This is kind of the industry standard. This is my industry standard. You're gonna do this over 2 to 3 weeks. So the first week really should be calling twice a day. Can you do this as a solo salesperson? No. So you probably need a VA. And we're working on a system to be able to hire VAs like clockwork on demand inside of Leadbase. So by the way, join the Leadbase free school below. There's 3,700 people that you can interact with there. I do free training on stuff like this, but more extensive. I do Q&As. We do a ton of some fun stuff in there. I give stuff away. Join the free school below. And hopefully soon I'm going to have the ability to kind of hire you guys out, even just part-time VAs or lead management specialists, lead managers that can call these leads and get some call volume to support you as a salesperson. Because we all know salespeople, we call the lead a few times and then we want to move to the next leads. We don't have time to call a lead 21 times all the time. So that's why getting a VA is important. You can use multiple channels to reach out to people. Again, there's SMS, email. You could DM them on social with a VA as well. There's a lot of ways to reach out to people. If you want to be the best of the best, you have to be persistent. My best clients are persistent. They don't give up after 3 phone calls and then complain. They keep pushing. And usually the lead picks up on this. I think the average is around 7 touch points or 7 phone calls. So if you want to be the best, if you want to close deals, you have to be able to do that, because you're competing against other companies that are making that amount of phone calls. Again, I said before, automate without losing a human touch, mix auto drips with manual check-ins, send videos of yourself, send photos. Hey, I hear you're in North Carolina. I actually have this Panthers thing. I don't know. Any way you can get a little bit more personal, I think is going to go a long way. Because if you get a text that's like, hey, are you still looking to get solar? It's like, that's not really, don't really feel like a sales conversation right now. But again, if you could say, hey, and I know you're in Texas. I actually was just there the other week. Really like the barbecue in Austin. I don't know, something personable. Again, these are human beings we're dealing with. We're not dealing with AI robots. We're dealing with people. They want to be spoken to like real people. And make sure you track and iterate. A CRM is obviously useful. We use a lot of our clients use HubSpot. You can use Go High Level. Monitor response rates. Response rate is a huge metric that you need to focus on. And when you call quickly, we have clients that call within 2 minutes, and their contact rate usually triples from the clients that don't do that. And I'm not exaggerating. Okay, guys. So hopefully these 5 tips are helpful. Again, let's go over each of them quickly just to recap. We need to ask the right questions on our landing page to qualify the leads. We need to add friction so that they're not just forgetting about us. We need to make our thank you pages work for us and be actually useful instead of just being a page that says we'll call you. Speed to lead is crucial, and we need to follow up like a pro 21 times. If you're not doing these things, you're not going to be the best. We want to be the best. These are the things that we do that keep our clients coming back to us buying leads. If you're a salesperson, this is crucial. All these things are very important. You can't just go and take a template and set up a lead form and call the person once and think it's going to crush. Like, this is a competitive market, and you can be successful if you do these things because 90% of people are not doing them. Join Leadbase free down below. If you want more, we have Leadbase Pro. We've launched a brand new course showing how to do all this stuff here. So if you're interested in that, join Leadbase free and then shoot me a DM if you have questions. And there's lots of free stuff on there as well, guys. So appreciate you watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one.